As a kid, my mom is very much a very holistic person. I always saw a chiropractor as a kid. When we got in car accidents, my mom took me to a chiropractor to get taken care of. So I've always believed in chiropractics. Marrying my husband really kind of threw me more into the field than anything with him being a chiropractor. He doesn't claim that he's a specialty as much as I do. I was in a car accident when I was about 8 years old, was diagnosed in 5th grade, so when I was about 10, with severe migraines. I had those migraines for over 20 years before we realized what they came from. The way that Dr. Thane puts it is after we got married, he realized he married a monster. I would get my migraine and he would come home from school and he wasn't allowed to talk. He wasn't allowed to whisper. He wasn't allowed to turn on the lights. He wasn't allowed to do anything because I would have a migraine, and anything that he did would make my migraine worse. And so while he was in school, he would go and ask different teachers that he had how to treat migraines. And so he would ask a teacher, he'd come home and he would adjust me. We would watch and see how long my migraine went away, how long it would take for it to come back. And then he would go back to school the next day and say, okay, her migraine only went away for about an hour. Is there another way to treat a migraine? And he went and learned so many different ways to treat a migraine until he finally realized what was triggering my migraines. My migraines actually were coming from my jaw and my TMJ. Very few chiropractors actually even adjust that, but because that's where my migraines were coming from, he went to school and learned specifically how to adjust TMJs to be able to treat my migraines. But because he also took all that time to learn how to adjust and treat migraines, I claim he's a specialist because he knows so many more ways than most chiropractors know at all in how to take care of headaches and migraines. And now TMJ issues, if you know specifically it's a TMJ issue, he can help with that as well. It's not going to be a one and done thing because he doesn't know what your triggers are if you come in for a migraine. I went from having migraines once to twice a week that would last 2 to 3 days to now I get one maybe once a year. Because now that he knows my triggers, I actually know my triggers. When I do those things, I know that I just ate a really chewy steak. If we don't do something about this in the next 2 days, I'm going to have a really bad migraine. I'll sit at the table and I'll look at him like, will you please adjust me tomorrow? Because I really don't want a migraine. And he laughs and he's like, oh, absolutely. And then he adjusts me and then I don't have that migraine because I now know what my trigger is because he was able to figure it out. So that's why I claim that he's a migraine specialist and why I fell in love with working in this office.